saying congratulations on your role in Three Pines. This show has already started to get so many people excited here for the show to be launched. Tell us a little bit about how you feel being involved in such a show that's got such a... seems to have gathered a fan base very, very quickly.
Yeah, we are very lucky, and I'm so excited to be part of this show. This is a show that's based on 18 books, so we definitely have that fan base that is built in, and we're so lucky to have them. And we're also really excited for, a whole bunch of other people to discover not only the TV show, but the book series and vice versa. So I think it's just really fun that, there's a big buzz about it right now. There's a new book out, the series is out. I think it's just really exciting for Louise Penny and all things Three Pines right now.
So tell us a little bit about how you first became involved with the show. Did you have to go through the audition process, or how did that all work for you?
Yes, so I did go through the audition process. My agent sent me over casting breakdown, and I was requested for an audition, and I read basically the character breakdown. I'm sorry, my dog is like hyperventilating. Let me know if you could hear him.
That's okay.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so I received the audition breakdown and the character breakdown, and I hadn't heard of Louise Penny, so I started researching and going down that rabbit hole, and then discovered that, the character that I'm auditioning for is slightly different than the version of the character in the book, so I had a little bit of liberty to build, a character from scratch, and the creators wanted her to be more eager and accident prone and awkward and all those fun things that are always a pleasure to play. So I kind of just threw spaghetti at the wall, not really thinking I had a shot at this role because it was such a huge production company behind it, Creators of the Crown. So I just thought, they're seeing some local people, but I don't really think they'll pick me. So I kind of just went for it and had fun with it, and I guess whatever I did stuck with them, because they asked me to retape because they said whatever I did was way too big, which is hilarious. And so I did. I retaped and gave them a little bit more of a grounded version of the character, and they dug it. So we did a session together, and a few days later I found out that I was sent to network, and that I was the only one sent to network, so that I had some good odds.
I was going to ask something that you just mentioned then. Your character is a little bit different in the books to what she is in the show. Did that mean then, as an actress, that you didn't really go back and read the books because it would give you a kind of false of what the character was really like, or what they wanted the character to be like on the series?
What I did is I ended up going back and reading all of the books just because I wanted to get a sense of the world, the other characters, and sometimes there's things that you can do as a character that could be a little nod to the character in the books. So I kind of wanted the knowledge of the world. So I did dive into the books, and I am up to book number 9 right now. But as soon as we started shooting the series, I did take a break from them because I started getting confused with all the storylines and being like, wait, was that in the book or is that in the series? So I took a little break, but I plan on reading all the books. I really like them. They, when we're not shooting, it's nice to go back to Three Pines in a way and just discover all the layers of the characters, because I think that's just so interesting to see how they all evolve.
What other research did you have to do to play a detective? Did you get to go and talk to actual detectives? Or I know one of the things they do here in Australia when an actor or an actress is cast as a police officer, they actually get that actor or actress to go to a police station for a week and see what that's like. Did you have to do anything like that for your role?
So I did want to do some ride-alongs, because actually one of my friends played a police officer on a TV series here in Quebec for, about like 2 or 3 seasons. So I asked her, hey, what did you do to kind of get into your role? And she's like, I did some ride-alongs. But at the time when I was cast, it was COVID. Yeah. Well, it still is COVID, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And I wasn't able to do a ride along with police officers just because of all the protocols, but we were able to meet with police officers before we started shooting. So we had a rehearsal day where we could ask all those embarrassing questions that you wouldn't want to ask in public. And we were also, I jumped into a few documentaries. I actually watched a documentary about my friend becoming a police officer for her show. So I was able to, kind of immerse myself, ask a lot of questions. And we also had a session where we learned how to handcuff people. And I have a background in stunts, so holding a gun and all that kind of stuff felt pretty natural. But, it's always nice to just get those refreshers and make sure you're doing it the way that everyone else is, so you kind of look like you're all, part of the same team. But, it's really interesting to just kind of have, about a month to 6 weeks to just go, all right, here we go, diving in.
Yep.
So the research is quick, yeah.
Doing that research, did that change how you view police officers or how you view their job? Because I know of an actress here in Australia who played a police officer in a series, and she said she changed her opinion of what a police officer's day is like from the very beginning once she realised some of the tough situations they get called out to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Well, as soon as I got cast, I started clocking all the police officers around me. I would, if I saw a situation happening from far, I would kind of be like that weird person that would just kind of, walk closer and listen to how they were handling it. So I became so interested in just their day to day, because I feel like there's a lot of police procedurals, detective procedurals that kind of let you know in a way, when it's high stakes, all the action stuff. But I thought it was just so interesting to get to know them, when it's just like a traffic stop or, a usual thing that they do. But also the danger. I mean, it's just on both sides, like I know there's been a lot of issues with policing in the past few years that's really come to light. So I think it was interesting to be able to see both sides, because our series is really interesting and it does cover, there are good cops and there are bad cops. So I think it's really interesting to bring all that to light and just have those conversations. Not all police officers are bad people. Not all, I don't know, not all actors are bad people. It's just, I think it's important to have those conversations.
Definitely. I was going to ask that as well about the difference between corrupt and good cops as well in the series, because of course we've seen some brilliant police series over the years like The Shield and things like that have tackled police corruption. How important was those kind of storylines to you to want to be involved with this show, a show that shows good and bad policing?
I think it's really important to allow the general public to be exposed to both situations. Especially with the Indigenous storyline, I was able to be surrounded by so many creative Indigenous artists throughout shooting this series that I was able to learn about their stories and their history with policing. And that, being white privilege, like I've never had to deal with being afraid of police officers just for being who I am. So that really opened up a different side of it for me, because growing up it was all about police officers are our heroes, and I'm lucky enough to have that perspective on it. But I think just having those conversations with my castmates and being able to have conversations with people around me after watching episodes. A lot of people learn history through headlines, guilty as well, and I think it's just really fun to explore these headline quote-unquote stories that put emotional stakes behind them, and people can really be exposed to our history and what has happened in the past. And that for me is so rewarding and exciting, and I think the creators did a really good job.
Definitely, yeah. Now, you mentioned your castmates. You get to work with some amazing cast members. Tell us a little bit about what it's been like working with them up to this point, because as I said, it's an amazing cast. They must be brilliant to work with.
Everyone is fantastic, and I'm so proud that everyone is Canadian. of course, Alfred Molina is not Canadian, but he's now, he's part of the family.
Yep.
But he's curled, he's had maple syrup, he's good, and he's so nice. So that's one of the Canadian boxes that you got to take off. But yeah, our cast was just incredible. They just brought so much to all the roles, and it very much felt like an ensemble. Fred grew up with a theater background, so it very much felt like we were a theater troupe, and everyone was just an equal, and we had so much fun playing and trying different things and finding that chemistry. And it was really interesting to have the relationships between the police officers and the townspeople. I just have to say, like, the cast, and we were all able to hang out occasionally because of COVID. We weren't able to go out on weekends and enjoy all the delicious food that Montreal has to offer, but we did create those fun memories on set, and I think, like, just that safe, creative environment brought out everyone's best.
Now, one of the interesting things about your character is she's a little bit accident prone. What was that like, bringing that to the character? Because it's kind of a difficult task to give an actress, because you can go for the complete bumbling kind of detective for a comedy aspect, but there's a more serious side there. So how did you approach that, being told that your character was accident prone?
I think my first pass at her, like I said before, was a little bit too broad. I kind of took those characteristics and I wasn't as specific with them as I should have been, but I think they did see potential, and they saw the essence of the character that, they definitely imagined as Agent Yvette Nicole. But throughout working with them in that week, and also being on set and being aware of the tone of the show, I feel like what I realized quickly is that she takes her job so seriously, and the accident prone does not come out of, it's not coming from let's make people laugh. It's coming from she's nervous, she wants to do everything right, so she just it doesn't always think before she grabs for something, or she has tunnel vision and she's just like, okay, I need to get this thing, and sorry, oh, you're in my way. I think it has a lot to do with this nervous energy, and I can absolutely relate to that. I feel like, every time I've been in a situation where I want to, act like I have it all together and calm and collected, I definitely knock something over. So I can relate to that.
Well, Sarah, I know we're running out of time very, very quickly, so I just want to wrap up by saying, again, congratulations on being part of such a brilliant show. And I guess my last question is, what would you like to say to people out there who are about to sit down and watch Three Pines for the first time?
Ooh, that's a great question. And thank you for having me, by the way. It's been a pleasure. I think what people should be excited for or expect from Three Pines is they're going to get a lot of delicious murders, but I think they're going to be surprised by how deep it goes, how interesting these characters are. And I think that the murder will draw them in, but the characters and this otherworldliness will make them stick around.